let's hit the record button. And as you can see, after all that, angle and lighting is perfect. Whether I have it this way, on this side, you can catch everything. But if I have it this way, you can catch everything in a full angular aspect. Okay? So, let's get ready. Let's get ready for it. And I open my door in order to not be disturbed. And that little square right there is recognizing my facial features. And that's a portion of the AI effect, is that little square recognizes your features and it starts to portray different characters and different forms of who you are as a person. Okay? And that little square takes those different features and it basically pulls you apart as a person. So whether you use a cell phone or a camera or a laptop, that little square does exist. It just doesn't show on the cell phone or the laptop, but it does exist. And I use that little square on my cell phone and laptop equally because I like when the features pick up from my skin and it helps for me to be recognizable and change forms and characters as I'm filming. Okay? So, let's get into the reading of the matter. I did not pick a book for today to read, so I won't be reading a book for today per se, but I will be doing a couple to a few indented reading portions. By the way, let me turn this light on because it's a little bit misgiving. That feels much better, actually. That feels a lot better for me. So I have this light on, I have the bathroom light on, which is pulling lighting through. It's pulling what's known as a through lighting, and then I have that light on, in which I will need to pay the bill for having so much lighting prospects plugged in and turned on. I will need to pay the bill for that, so don't mess with my money, please. Anyways, let's get into the sentencing reading. We'll be reading the sentencing reading for this portion, and am I happy to be back in the reading portion and the teaching portion, even though it is for a short time in 2025. Yes, I am happy. I only have until the 21st to do this, and then I won't be able to do this until after January 6th when my kids return to school, and my son would only have 4 months of school left and my daughter would have 1 year left because my son is in the 12th grade. So I got to get this done very, very speedily in order to figure out how I'm going to work it out at home to continue to teach after my son graduates high school. So, let's get to figuring that out. How will you teach once your son and your daughter leaves the public school aspect in which they forced me to send her and him? Actually, I'm glad I was pushed to send them to public school because it actually helped me to figure out a part of me that I didn't realize existed. Had I been homeschooling my children, I wouldn't have been able to see this part until maybe they were in the job field of homeschooling. And I'm actually really glad I was pushed to send them to school in order to see a different part of myself and how to improve upon that part of myself. So it happened at the right time for the right reasons, and I'm glad it did because I became much stronger and a very different person for it. So thank you. Let's get into the reading. I will read the sentence first and then I will tell you the wording after. And this is from the book The Cult or Book Cult with Camilla Lackberg and Henrik Fexus. The infatuation of the deliberate act told the police unit that the action was planned out before the scenario was even taken care of, which led to over 1,114 arrests being made 1 week later. Not every early plan always works out for the better. Every early plan, or some early plans I should say, works and takes and makes 1 week. And the word for that sentence is the word infatuation. The disregard that the people had for not respecting her time request for peace and quiet so that she could have personal time for herself was very appalling. The word for this is disregard. Don't ignore the fact that the truth in all situations, whether planned or not, will be found out with the consistent viewing eyes that we know as a camera. The word for this is ignore. The unrelated information that was being displayed by the news team told the general public that these people had absolutely no knowledge or education as to how to study to get to the reported information first. That takes up to 2 years before it reaches the television on the truthful nightly news. Before I make my report on Joy News, I studied the information 2 years prior in order to get to know the person that is behind the crime that has been committed, that is now being searched for through a Canada-wide national arrest. And the word for this is unrelated. With that being said, that has been your sentence reading for today. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for part 2, which is the continuing teaching by me.